Okay. So welcome to the call. I'm Damon Nelson with as your host, and my partner is Wayne Atkinson. Wayne, give us a shout out.
Hi, everyone. Hope you're all well today.
Excellent. And we got a lot of people going to join us today on the call. We are actually going more mainstream public with these calls. Is we want to introduce a new set of clients to our customers into getting to know us and what we're all about. And we stepped back a little bit because I put out some surveys, and the surveys really help. Hopefully y'all will all participate in the survey. Give us a testimonial at the end if you want. But I kind of want to explain what are Geek Out Fridays. And this started back in, I think, February or March of last year. And there was a couple of guys I was spending time on Skype with, just geeking out over, amazing enough, marketing automation, RSS feeds, and RSSMasher tech. So we kind of built it into a series. And it's not necessarily a training series about how to do specific tasks, although in some of the calls we have been doing specific training, but it's more to introduce a topic or strategy or technique, or maybe even show you some tactics of how we're getting it done. But it's never been meant to be a training course that we would, sell online for $997. It's not that. What it is for everybody to have fun, learn something new, spend an hour and ask us questions about the topic we're talking about. And we're going to try to find and deliver topics that are related to our own products, which is RSSMasher technology, VidPenguin, and Masher sites. And around the whole concept of marketing automation, so you're building a recurring passive income system. So I know that was a long phrase, but we're going to try to keep it fun, simple, and it's not meant to show you exactly how to use every single tool that we introduce. It's to introduce you to the tools and the techniques that we use. So with that said, when do you want to add anything before we get onto the call?
No, not particularly. I think you've said it perfectly.
And if you see us, our webcams are off, but we got our VidPenguin 2 coffee mugs and our RSSMasher coffee mug. So we're got coffee, water, and we're ready to get started. So I'm gonna open it up with could you imagine a mind map? And guys, this is, if you've never been on a call before with us, this is how I think. I think more in terms of visual and how are things connected. And this kind of helps me write content, how to outline things. And I used to use an outliner, but once I figured out mind maps, I'm more comfortable with this. And I hope y'all don't mind, we do a lot of mind map and lucid charts, but this is the way that we teach. We teach off of a visual platform, a whiteboard per se, and we go from there. So this topic today is 10 best places to find RSS feeds for 2021. Now, why is this different than it is for 2020? Well, we got different research techniques. I've also built some resource pages to help you out. And there's some Chrome plugins that really do a good job for us. And some of the stuff that we're teaching today wasn't around even a year ago. And we even have developed our own techniques for creating RSS feeds, primarily the G-sheet method. So Wayne's going to be answering calls. He'll jump in on the call whenever there's an important question or that was brought up about the specific topic we're talking about. So I'm going to start off with Google search. If somebody gave me a topic, and I've done a lot of builds, in fact, some of the guys on the call, I've built your websites for you to start with. And we've built tools that make it real easy to put RSS feeds, and do a set it and forget it content delivery system. However, the most time I spend when I do a build is RSS research, because I may not even know the subject, or even if I know the subject, I want the latest, greatest trending topics. So the very first thing I start with is Google search. And I use this real simple concept is niche, and then I add the word feeds to it. So let me show you what I would talk about. I'm going to hop over here to I'm in Google Chrome. So I'm going to talk about, let's make our topic today cat training. I know I've used this in the past, but cat training RSS feeds. And you can leave that. Okay. So when you do this, top 100 cat RSS feeds, top 100 pet RSS feeds, Vet Street. So it's going to start giving you RSS feeds for websites, Face Kitty. I like this name, Face Kitty. What is RSS? And this is how I start. I know it's real simple, but I usually pick the very first one, which is usually a feed spot. And now I can start finding feeds in here. And this gives me 1 post per day, a frequency count, 9 posts per week. This is probably a good one right here. I Heart Cats, Catster Magazine, 1 post per day. So you can kind of get an idea. This is what I'm looking for. And I want to jump past that. Need to sign up there. And I'm looking for something that when I click into it, let's see what this one is about. Love. Actually, just view latest post. Okay. Kitten found on the side of the road. You know, I'm looking for topics here. Look and see what they look like. I'll click into 1 or 2 of them. There's some pictures, images, and this is good stuff right here. Okay. Now, I have no idea what the RSS feed looks like on this. So what I'm going to do is come back here and let's follow the feed. So I'm just going to copy the link address. Jump out of this. And I'll paste it here. Now, I don't read XML very well, but this is what I'm looking at. So I know that there's a lot of content, but I really don't know what it looks like. So typically I will hop into our tool over here. Let me log in. And I'm just going to throw in a feed here just to do a sample feed. Edit. And why do I use this tool? Well, it's our tool, but I know if it works through here, I can use it as a mash. So instead of trying to see if it's readable in other tools, I want to make sure it's readable in our tool because that's what I'm building it for. I hit build and preview web. Well, what did I do here? Let me do this. I'm just going to start with a brand new mash because that was my test mash that I was using yesterday.
You've probably got a G sheet in there or a YouTube.
Yeah, I got a YouTube feed in there. Cat training. And hit update. Website feed, and I'll just drop it in here. Okay, that looks pretty good. So I'll come over here to build, hit build, preview web. Okay, get some good pictures, good title. Now the bold part is what we call the YouTube description. So this is the description of the post. Now what I'm looking for is if it's not in bold, it would be the content of the post. And in terms of what we need to do blog posts is we need content, not description. Real easy to fix. Come back over here to MASH and I'll put in here If content is blank, copy from description. I hit update. And it's really how they build the feed on the publisher site is what it's going to look like. So there's description and there's content. So I'm going to get some good content off of this feed right here. Good long content. Now it looks like it's kind of a conversation back and forth. So again, I'm going to come back over here to my top 100 and I'll just go iHeart. Let's look at latest post, 27 cat tutu. Yeah, this one might be a good one here. So let's look at the feed. Okay, I'll have some good content. So I'll copy that. And again, come back over here, hit website feed, I'll place it in. And make sure it's going to validate. And I'm going to turn this one just temporarily off to test. Come back to build, hit build, and preview web. Okay, this looks good. This is cat tattoos. There's going to be a featured image, a good title, good images in here. Yeah, this is going to be maybe that's a long post right there of different cat tattoos. Okay, got some good content in here. So I would probably use this one. I would keep this one in the mix. Now I would continue doing this with this top 100. I don't have to look anywhere else about cat training. I mean, there's 100 of them in here that I can kind of look at. And again, I'm looking at frequency, about the site. I'm going to look at latest post, and then I'll pull the feed. I'm also looking, make sure it's Los Angeles. I don't want foreign language in my particular feeds. I mean, this is about Bengal cats, 2 posts per year. I wouldn't use this. This is Simon's Cats. I know this is more of a cartoon series there. So anyway, that's how I find my feeds. Any questions about I know this is real elementary here of how we found the feed was we just typed in cat training and feeds, or cat training RSS feeds. And the reason I used RSS here is because sometimes the results, especially if you're doing pets with feeds, they're going to link you to feed stores or cat food. So you just put RSS feeds in front of it. Wayne, any other tips on the Google search method?
There is, but I think it's further down in your list. Excuse me.
Okay. And we're kind of going over these kind of quickly because, I mean, this is Search 101 right here. Now, I have a link, and it's going to be inside. This is my next deal for you. It's 12 great resources for RSS feeds. And I'm going to put the link right here. This is a shareable link, but I will put it in the chat mode here.
Yeah, Garen's made a good point as well, because you can also add Atom and XML to the search terms, just like where we did RSS feeds.
Yep. Yeah, so your search, you can expand it right there. It's real easy, but this is the basic. I'd say 80-90% of all my RSS feeds are from right here. I don't need any special software. That's the way I find them. Okay, so inside of RSSMasher, I'm assuming most of you on the call are probably RSSMasher customers. So I'm going to come over here to Kajabi. Inside the categories, inside RSSMasher technology, go down to RSS feed training. And I updated this last night to put it in here. 12 great resources. you also have the link that you can download my Dropbox. So basically I just copy the Dropbox in here and it's also right here. But in here are links, and they may be just straight outbound links, but these are ones that I've researched. Like these are podcasts, most popular podcasts. And you can just kind of follow this through. Top 10 RSS news feeds for 2020, BBC, CNN, ESPN. And if you go into, let's say ESPN, they have multiple feeds inside of ESPN, depending on what you want to bring out. And again, you would want to check each of these feeds and make sure, you know, if you're going to put in the top headlines, make sure it has the right content using RSSMasher technology. Okay. So this is a good little resource here, and it's inside of RSSMasher tech. And some of these are like this one right here. This is a Google, it's a PDF and it's inside of my Dropbox. But these are ones that I've accumulated over time that I like. Let me get rid of that sidebar, get rid of this mess down here. So I have, the Onion is really good. It's got some weird stuff in there. Giveaway of the day. So if you might want to mix things up with some really weird off the shelf stuff. Brain Candy, I like this Boing Boing. I haven't checked this in a while, but it is a feed burner. BuzzFeed always has really good content, Lifehacker. So you can kind of see there's some good stuff in here. And then I get down to some tech stuff, sales strategies. You know, if these are my backup go-to sources, and you can find them, you know, inside of the RSSMasher. 12 great resources. Okay. So this is a, you know, it's something that it's easy to find. Now, here's something that recently I've been using a lot more of is I will find the site and then I want to find the feed from the site that I want to go to. And sometimes the feed is just not evident. Like on WordPress, you can just put /feed, and most WordPress sites are set up. Let me spell that word. You can also do a search for WordPress sites called wordpress.com site : and then put the keyword or the topic. So we'll test this out here. Just copy that. But I use a Chrome plugin to find the feeds, and it's a free plugin. So let's go back over here, and I'll just type in cat training and let's drop that off. Okay, so I'm just going to come down here and kind of, let's look, get out the ads. Daily pause. Okay, I have this little plugin, and what I'm looking for first is, can I even see if an RSS feed on here? I'm going to go down to the very bottom. I don't have anything here. Get rid of all the pop-ups. So here's what I'm going to do is come up to my little RSS feed finder. No feed found. So if there's no feed on it, then it's probably one of those that you're not going to be able to use anyway. So I'm going to go back into home. Let's check it one more time. Okay, no feeds found. This is more of a, let's try dog training. Sometimes you can find really good posts or really good blogs that they don't have, you have to kind of search for the feed itself. And this looks like some blog content here, a lot of ads. Okay. So it's telling me that I have a feed here and then I have a comments feed. You don't want to use this one. This is the feed you want. So I'm just going to copy the URL. And again, I can come over here, go into my website feed. I'm going to paste it in. And I'm just looking. This is the time-consuming part of your research. It's easy to find them. You just want to make sure they're good ones. And come over to build. Preview web. Okay. This is a good one, but in the blog post itself, it has no images. So I have to make a decision. Do I want to use this? Is the content good enough to use in one of my blog posts? And if it is, now I'm going to have to put some images. No problem. We have this thing called image replace that you could put in dog training. And you can use if you got your Google API image, you could check that, or you can even just do image packs over here. Image packs are your own custom images. I prefer to use this because I really sometimes don't know what Pixabay and Google are going to bring back. They may not have anything really relevant. So I don't know if I have just a dog. I'll just do an assortment pack just to show you how it works. Randomize the images, image replace. I'm going to put all images, anything bigger than 100 pixel, add a featured image to text-only articles. This is a text-only article, so I'm going to hit update. Come to build, hit build. And preview web. Okay. And you can imagine, you know, if you had an image pack that's just dogs, this would go in right here. So instead of these weird images that don't match, this is how you would get your image packs in there. But you want to make sure the blog's worthy enough to even use and put your time into doing image packs. So that's how you would find a feed on a site, is using this little bitty Chrome plugin up here. And let's go back to cat training. I'll see if there's one more that we can look at. And usually the blogs, and this is kind of, I don't necessarily want first page or second page blogs. I want something in the 4th, 5th, or 6th range. And the reason I say that is this is going to be your WebMD, all your high SEO sites, and they're not going to be blogs. They're going to be full-fledged pages, or they're going to be corporations with blogs, with products to sell. And so they're not going to be as specific as somebody talking about dog training in a blog. So I'm going to jump over to page 4 or 5, and I'm looking for dog training. Okay.
While you're doing that, there's a question come in that needs addressing. John says, so standard procedure now is to replace images. Well, no, but you'll notice in the demonstration that Damon didn't have any images. So we used Masher to insert some images to make the articles look a lot nicer.
Yep. Yeah, this is what the blog looked like with no images in it. And let's assume that this is content that I would want to put in my own website. Well, I just need to add images. And when I did, that's what they look like. Now, there were no images at all to replace, so they just added a featured image. And good question, though. Okay.
And Walt asks, what's the name of the Chrome feed finder extension?
Good question. It is called Get RSS Feed URL. And it's Sheva Baum is the author of it. And it's in the extension library inside of Chrome. So let's go in and look at the WordPress. How do you find it with WordPress? Well, let's close a few windows here. And I'm just going to type in site. I think I can do that. Okay, so these are all WordPress.com sites, and these are great content sites for blogs. K9 Solutions Boarding School, Rudy's Friends. I think I've actually used this one before. So I'm looking at the blog here, and there's some training in here. Let's see. I think they just do photos. Let's go back. Let's pick another one here. Okay, here's Susan Garrett's dog training blog. And let's come up here. No feeds found. So we're going to try the feed method. No feed. Okay. So this is, again, part of the research pattern here is she's turned off her RSS feed. And that's fine. You don't want to use somebody that doesn't have an RSS feed in there. So again, I'm going to jump to page 2 and look for some more of these. Okay, right dog share. There we go. And let's just type in the word feed. Okay. This is a feed, but he doesn't have any content coming in here. So you can kind of get an idea of, this is research. And I do the same as what Wayne does in finding RSS feeds. You sometimes have to go old school with it. And that's really how I work it out. Now on dog training, I don't really have to worry about that much, but I've had a site that we built that was stress management. I know nothing about stress management. I probably need to know more. Okay, 1.3 million searches. Let's see. I'm looking for a WordPress site. So maybe this. That's a PDF. I'm not giving you any good examples here, am I? Here we go. Stress lessons. Let's see if that gives us something. Nope, it's going to give us PDFs also. I think that was one of the reasons I had a hard time. There's not a lot of just direct blogs about stress. Here we go here. Let's just try this one. Well, I'm getting all the PDFs. I don't know how I managed that one. Well, Wayne, I'm at a loss there. I was pulling up a lot of Word PDFs there. Yeah. Okay. So that's kind of the technique here is use the Chrome plugin, and our tip is always go to newspapers and magazines. And again, you can come over in just do sports management magazines if you want to. So I'm going to look at this one. So this is kind of a link to them. Let's go into the business of sports newsletters. Let's try another one, athletic business. Okay, here's a good one. I want to get out of pop-ups, come over here, and there we go. So that would be a good feed, athletic business feed, RSS, or the Atom HTML. I would probably pull this one or the feed burner right here. And again, it's just research, just Google research, and then using the little Chrome plugin to find it. Okay. Next one we're going to talk about is RSS Ground. This is one of my favorite research tools because it has a little built-in preview, and it shows kind of the content and the frequency based on a keyword search. And we'll just come back here to RSS Ground. Okay, so I'm going to look in here to our search public feeds. And let's say pets, go into weight loss. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go over here to my filter, and I want to go by update frequency. And do I want full content or partial? Well, I'm building a blog, so I want full content. I want English. And I want articles. You could do videos or podcasts, but I want articles. Okay. So these are all RSS feeds. They're ready to look at. So let's look at this one. Is 88.3 posts a week, updates per week. So let's see kind of what it looks like over here. I don't see any featured images in here, and kind of short on the description block, so that might not be one I want. Diet and weight loss. Let's see. This might be something I can do. I might have to add my own images in there. Let's. Okay. These are, looks like podcasts, but they're going to probably be, yeah, I would say they're probably podcasts or videos. So you could use this, but you're really going to be sending out content for somebody else here. Now, the ones that are 0.01, they may not, they probably haven't updated in a long time. So I'm just going to look at this. 2018 was the last post. So I would not want to use something like that. So you could type in your own keywords here. Let's go back and pull another category. Dang it. Okay, let's pull probably sports news and go back into my filter. I want popular update frequency, all sizes. I want to do full content, English, and just articles. Okay, so NFL news, sports, let's take a look at it. Okay, now this doesn't have images. And I did an NFL site for somebody, and what I learned was the images are all going to be Getty styled images, copyright images. Sometimes it's hard to do a NFL or NBA or Major League Baseball because all the images are copyright and they're not syndicated through the RSS feed. So you would have to go in and create your own image packs for this. And that's the only ones that I really noticed was the NFL, NBA, and Major League. Here's Colorado local news. And this is just local news. It has really nothing to do with sports. And Yahoo typically had images. They don't on this feed. Now, sometimes they're not going to show up in the preview. Sometimes you just have to actually open them up inside of RSSMasher Okay, this is a good one right here. We got tennis, hockey, speed skating. So there's some good content and good description. So this would be one that I would want to use. So again, you would just copy the feed, you copy that, just copy that right there, copy link address, go over here, website feed, I'll post it in there. And I'm going to turn off that dog feed. And what we're doing is we're validating the feed right here. And because we're on a live call, that's why it's taking so long. So while that's cooking, I'm going to go ahead and find us some more that we can look at. Let's up rocks. Okay, this might be a good one too. Let's look at it. Copy the feed source, copy link address. Okay, it's still. I think I broke the system there.
I don't think he likes that one. It's either very long or it has some really weird something in it.
Yeah.
Just click on manage mashes and go back in.
Let's try that again. Cat training. Edit. Website feed. Okay. I guess it didn't like it. So anyway, it has uprocks in there. And I'm going to go into image replace. I'm just going to turn that off. We don't need that anymore. If we got some images in there. Preview web. Okay. Yeah, this is going to be a really good one.
Did you click update?
Yeah. Over here?
No, image replace.
Yeah. I clicked update there. Hit build, and preview web. Okay. This is something that I could use. It is using some Getty images in there. But it is in the RSS feed, so they're syndicated images. So yeah, this would be a really good feed to build a sports post from. In fact, I may keep this in my little stash of good RSS feeds for sports. But this is why I use RSS Ground. It's really easy to quickly go through this. Breaking news. I'm going to look at this one. And without spending a lot of time in here, this one is probably going to be all San Francisco sports. Yep. Okay. So you can kind of see that this is I use RSS Ground a lot. You can create your own personal feeds. In fact, they're going to be doing some stuff in February about where you can build a feed from scratch inside of RSS Ground. But primarily, I just use it for searching public feeds. Okay. Any questions before we move on from RSS Ground? Yeah, Garen has a good point. You can always use Masher to filter the niche. So out of that general feedback here, if I can just, if I wanted baseball or football or whatever I wanted in here, I could come up to the keyword filters and just put in just put in basketball. Hit update. Build. Preview web. So sometimes the filters are really too tight on there. Let's see, keyword filters. Let's look at it again. Maybe just type in NFL. Let's see, or NBA. Hit update. Build. Preview web. There we go. So I'm just bringing NBA across. So there was only one article in that pool, but the pool only brought in 10. So you can always increase this to bring in more further back. So this is using RSS Ground, you can get some really quickly, you can research topics that you don't know a lot about, and it starts bringing them up for you. So that's RSS Ground. Let's look at, this is one of my other sources I use is Feedly. They can recommend feeds for you. So let's go over to Feedly, and the last call we had, I think, was the Feedly to Zapier. But let's say that I want to add we'll go back to cat training. Let's just do cats. So they're recommending articles or blogs that have, they give you the followers, how much relevance it matches up to your topic, and articles per week. So what you can do is you can build a feed stream of cats. So that's what I'm going to do is I'm going to follow this, and I'm going to create me a feed stream. I don't think I have one on cats, so it's a new feed, and let's just call it cats. Hit create. And again, it seems like, yeah, there we go. Okay. So as I just kind of scroll through here, I'm just looking for stuff. Animal GIFs, maybe okay. The Daily Kitten, 2,000 followers, has some relevance, one article per month, probably not going to be a great one. 4 articles per week, this might work. So you can actually take a look at it, see what they have. It doesn't look like they have any images there. Haas Panther. Okay. This might be interesting to put in there, so I'll just hit follow. Put it in my cats section. Okay. So using this, you can find the feeds that are kind of obscure. I would say the Conscious Cat. Let's look at this one. This may not show up in your Google search under the term cat, but Feedly has identified it as this isn't a blog that other people have added to their Feedly, and they're going to recommend it that you can add, that people follow. So again, I'm looking for, here's some viral trending. It's a metric indicator. Anything over 100 means this one kind of probably went viral. So the Conscious Cat. So this looks pretty good. So I'll just hit follow there. Okay. And so anyway, now I have a feed stream of cats. I can do several things with it. Let's go bring up. So it hasn't pulled the details yet on the cat. But let's say I'm inside of cars. is these are ones that I follow. You can do several things with it. Is you can take an RSS feed or a feed stream from Feedly and go into Zapier, into a G Sheet, into RSSMasher. Or if you know that you're going to be using Autoblog, what I do typically, I'll just go ahead and click into this one. I know that Autoblog is a good one that I like using. So I'll click Autoblog, go ahead and follow through into this. There we go. I'll get to the site, come up here and copy the URL. Then I will place that URL inside of RSSMasher. So I'm using Feedly to kind of identify some really nice blogs for a keyword niche. I'll drill all the way down to the original post and then grab the RSS feed from it. So I'm not using any automation like Feedly to Zapier to G Sheets. I'm putting this site in there directly. So that's kind of how I use Feedly to identify certain feeds that I want to put in there. And of course, it's following me around. I bought some Harry and David products. So anyway, let's look at the next one here. Any questions on Feedly before we go further? Peter has a good question. Do you have a paid or free account? On Feedly I have a paid account, but you can do this with a free account. The reason I have a paid account is I use the AI. Leo is an AI source inside of Feedly. We talked about it kind of on the last call, and it will identify the best articles and recommend them into a board. And then I can go into Leo and say, give me the best articles. Let's go back into Feedly. I'll close these out here, show you what I'm talking about. These are Leo priorities. So let's look at Amazing Hamburger up here. It's telling me these are great articles that you should put inside of your boards. So how to make a honey mustard wings. I'll come over here, put it to Amazing Hamburger. It's even recommending which board. And then that will flow through to Zapier, creating a G Sheet into RSSMasher, which we talked about the workflow last time on the Geek Out Friday. But that's why I have the paid version. Is I use Leo to recommend content for me. And this is one of the things I want to get is a big green egg. So I'm going to start saving stuff for big green eggs. And somehow Leo has known what I like, because anything with big green eggs, I start saving. So it started to recommend the ones with big green egg. Very, very smart AI in there. So anyway, you can kind of see why the difference between paid and the free is the Leo. Hope that answered the question. Okay, now we'll keep on moving around the board here. And how many people on the call know that RSSMasher has built-in feeds that you can use? I bet you there's probably a handful on the call. We have over 300 plus RSS feeds in 48 different niches that you can use. Some of them are thin feeds and some are really good feeds, really fleshed out full content feeds. So how do you get to those? Let's go with temporary off. And you can use any of these feeds that you want. These are ones that we researched. Actually, they came in from RSS Ground at some point. So let's go into news sports. And we've got a few in here. There's the Up Rocks. Let's go with Vice. I'm going to add that. And I'm going to add 538. Hit add to mash. Got them in there. Hit build. Preview web. No data. It means there's no data that it's pulled. They don't have any current feed content in there. So let's turn those off. Look for some other ones here.
Have you still got your keywords in?
Oh, yeah. Good idea. Yeah, there won't be any MBA. Okay, let's put these back. I'm just going to show 5. And build, preview, and activate. Preview web. There we go. Why is it showing kitties? Oh. I guess it didn't pick up one of them in there. It only picked up the vice. So I hit build. There we go. Now this one doesn't have any, it has a few images. That looks like a video or big image there. So this is something that you may want to replace with your own images, or this may not be, one that you would want to use. So in here, you've got a lot of choices. Some of them are okay. Let's go hobbies, pets. Let's see what we got there. I'll turn this one off also. Close that. Pet sugar is a good one. We'll just add that. You kind of get the idea. You choose your niche. Some we have 1 or 2. Some we may have 4 or 5 in there. We're going to add it in there. Got 10 for pet sugar, and hit build. Preview web. This is a good one if you're building a pet site. Good images. Now the content is kind of short on it, but it's got some good images to put in there. It's got some Instagram content. So I would definitely use this one to supplement a pet site. I like some of those images. Okay, so you just do build.
Images is usually defined as a type. In Bobby?
Sorry about that. Alexa decided to go off on us. Okay, with YouTube, we have the same thing. We have YouTube channels already built in. Now, some of them, like I said, you only have 1 or 2 channels in there, and some of them may have 5 to 6 of them in there. But that's how easy it is to set up. Okay. Any questions up to this point about these techniques?
Yeah, Nick said, are the RSSMasher feeds oversubscribed? He was concerned that everyone was using them. No, you've got, Yeah.
Nick, that's a good question, but no. If I asked everybody in RSSMasher how many are actually using them, there's probably a few dozen, but we've got 300 of them in there. It's up to you whether you use them, but they're there to help you quickly build content. And the idea here is you want a high content frequency. You're building a news site or a video news site, is you want frequency of postings. That's going to help build your traffic stream. Not every article that's being posted is going to be a good one. I wish they were all good ones, but they're not. So, but like Twitter or like any of these timeline scrollers, not every tweet or not every post on Facebook is a good one, or a viral post, but sometimes you subscribe to a group or a page in socials because you know every day there's going to be at least one good article that you're going to read. And I try to do that. I try to deliver that on all our groups also. Peter has a good question. Any thoughts to adding a keyword search into the built-in feeds? Yes, you can do that. I mean, what I would do is, like you're seeing now, is I build preview. I do this. This is what takes the time. This is the manual part of building a auto blog. But once you get it the way you like it, it's set it and forget it from then on. Okay, this one is, you probably know about this, but Garen kind of reminded me too, is we can use playlists, and I've just gone crazy with playlists lately. So I'm going to come over here to manage mashes. Okay, and here's a YouTube feeds. Let's just come in here and edit this one. Now, on YouTube feeds, I'm going to go over to Masher, to a video view site. And you could go to WordPress sites too, but I'm letting it know is this is going to be YouTube content. I want to capture the thumbnail image, which is the YouTube featured image. I want the description, and I want the YouTube video embed. And if I'm going to WordPress, I'm going to go ahead and send it the responsive code. But if I know I'm going to Masher sites, just skip this. If you're going to Masher sites. And I put it in a group, I hit update. And now I'm focused on YouTube feeds. So inside of YouTube feeds is you can have channels or you can have playlists. Here's the cool thing about playlists. Whenever you can build playlists on the fly while you're inside of YouTube. So let's go into YouTube. I'll pull up one of my channels and shut this video up right here that's always cranked up. So I'm going to go into my channel here. And I've got a few playlists. Weird lessons from history. So if I want to add content to that, then I would just come up here to search and weird lessons from history. So I'm just looking for weird stuff to put in there with high view count and fairly recent. So this is one. So what I'll do is I'll write. I'll come over here to the little hamburger menu, and I'm going to save to playlist and close. Come down here. Survival. We may need some of this. Survival lessons from the Great Depression. And I'll do a couple more here. Save to playlist. That one's already been saved to playlist. So it's fairly easy to put it into a playlist. Now, what do you do with the playlist? Well, I'm going to come over here and I'm in my own channel. So I'm going to right mouse click right here on the title. And I'm going to copy the link address. Come back over here and paste weird lessons from history in there. Okay, and I'm going to turn these other ones off. I'm not using these. Oops. Okay, and now I'm going to hit build preview. I seem I can't win sometimes here. Permanently off. Actually, I'll just delete that one. Love Me Out just keeps haunting me there. Hit build and preview web. Okay. So this is a great stream of weird posts. If you're doing anything and you want people to stick on the site and look at weird stuff, pull it off YouTube. These are great videos to put in there. They're all, I don't add them into my playlist unless they have a lot of views on there. And so this is one of the things, this is one of the tricks I'm using with playlists. Thank you, Garen. And the other is channels. So let's look weird lessons from history. We'll go back and look at it again. And what I'm looking for some YouTube channels, so Strange Mysteries. I'm going to click into that channel. 2 million subscribers. This would be a good channel to use. So I'm going to come up here.
It's common on the beaches of Hawaii.
I'm going to copy the channel, come back into RSSMasher, YouTube feed, and I'm going to paste the channel in there. And let's turn this one off, add the new channel. Okay, come over here to build, preview web. Okay. Now, what we just did, what you just saw was I'm actually copying somebody's channel that has 2 million subscribers. He probably does something right with his videos and his YouTube thumbnails. And this content now can go into my Masher sites, my video view sites or WordPress sites. And so I'm really taking the authority of somebody off YouTube and putting it into my own sites for social syndication. And it's real easy. You just grab the channel itself up here. So that's why YouTube is really, we use YouTube channel feeds and playlist feeds a lot in our mashes. Okay, so I think everybody knows how to use that. Now, when you're looking at social media feeds, sometimes you can pull a good group or page out of Facebook. In fact, I don't even have that in here. Facebook groups / pages. Pinterest feeds. Pinterest has a really good feed system. If all you're doing is images and short titles, that's a good one. Tumblr has their own feed. Blogger has a feed. You can even do Google Alerts. The downside of using Google Alerts that I have found is very, very thin content. But if you have a micro news site, this is probably a really good thing is use Google Alerts with it. Reddit has a feed stream with it. Now, how do you get them? Well, I kind of come over here and sometimes you can get let me hop into the right Chrome here. Go back here to RSS Ground feeds and you can create them from in here, generate private feeds from feed sources. So if you want a Twitter stream or you want a Instagram feed, there's your Pinterest feed. You're gonna put your username, your board name that you want to pull over, hit preview, and it's going to create an RSS feed for you. Now, I have a paid account, so I can have 50 of these. I tend to, on mine, is actually just look directly for the Pinterest feed. And this is kind of what I use. Is I'll create a home feed from my Pinterest boards. And again, I've Reddit news feed. And you can pull an RSS feed off of Reddit. And you can pull an RSS feed off of Tumblr. So this tells you how to pull the feeds. So again, just using your basic research, or if you want to make it really simple, just come over here to feeds, generate private feeds, and you can, Now Shopify, this would be, if you got a Shopify store, you can pull blog feeds off of that or data feeds. So you can actually put your e-com products into Shopify if you got a store, pull your store feeds off and send them into a match. Same with eBay and Amazon. And in fact, if you're using eBay, you can put your affiliate link in there to put your campaign ID in there to match up. Okay, so this is really kind of helpful. I mean, you can convert a data feed stream. Usually the data feeds are your Amazon feeds, your WooCommerce, anything with a standard data feed, even sports scores, as you can pull it off of a data stream. Okay, so just keep this in mind. Where this might come in real handy is if you want some, instead of going blogs, you want to bring, somebody has a good Tumblr stream or blogger stream and they spend their time with that. You could pull those RSS feeds into your match. Another place is Medium. You can pull a feed stream off that too. Okay, any questions on this before we go on? Okay.
No, I don't. No, not at the moment.
Okay, FeedBurner. FeedBurner is the old standby, the granddaddy of RSS feeds right here. Let me get back to the right site and FeedBurner. Okay, so I'm just going to go into FeedBurner and you can pull feeds off your own feeds, or you can search for other feeds. And here's what I'm going to do is FeedBurner dog training. And so it will actually start looking for FeedBurner feeds that are about dog training. And this one is not a FeedBurner, but you kind of look in here and grab that feed. So I use this, and not as often as I probably should have, but these are all old feeds I had. But FeedBurner is a good source just to, you know, if you're running out of ideas, hop over to FeedBurner. Garen said, re-hashtag your Tumblr feed when reposting to Tumblr to maximize discovery. Yeah, just vary it a little bit with some smart tags. And, okay, now the last method is the G sheet. Last call on Geek Out Fridays, we did Feedly to Zapier to G sheet. This is probably the most popular methodology that we've been teaching. I think that was the second or third time we taught it. But this is a great way to put it into G sheets. Well, let's talk about G sheets. Let's go into how do you use G sheets inside of RSSMasher. Come over here. Let's just create a brand new match. And actually, let's do barbecue. I know that one's working. You saw it earlier. Barbecue G sheets. And I'll just put it in a folder called demo. I have nothing else, so I'm going to go to Google G Sheets, choose my account, and I'm going to pull Amazing Hamburger, and I'm going to add it in there. And I'm going to hit build. Preview web. And I've got some good hamburger articles coming over here. And there's a couple of them with images that I want to use. There's a good image. I'm hungry. It's getting time for lunch now. So what I'm looking for is ones with images. Now I'm going to go back here, and we have our little tool here. Is extract articles with images only. Hit update. And now I'm going to come to build. So I may have moved them from Feedly to Zapier to G Sheets, but some of them may not have had images in the article. So this one has images. This is good. So is anybody getting hungry? So this is a good one. Now I can take this and I can create a really good mash for barbecue. And it's all from one Google Sheet. And in the training, we show you how integrations, you come down here to Google Sheets, choose your Google account, you can hit edit, and sheet name, I'm going to do test sheet, and I'm going to create the sheet. What this does is it creates a Google Sheet for you inside of your Google account. And now you can use that Google Sheet right there. If you want to see what it looks like, it's just going to be a blank sheet. And Zapier will put content, or Integromat will put content in here automatically for you that you can pull in using our RSSMasher G Sheet method. Okay. So this is, I'm kind of getting near to the end here, but this is how easy it is to use your G Sheets. Jamie, that's a good question. He asked, what is the difference between Zapier and Integromat? Well, I used to tell everybody it's price, but Integromat, both of them are similar tools. They both automate workflow processes. Zapier has been around longer than anybody else, and they have more complete, they have more integrations that you can do than anybody else combined. Integromat is, it's not new, but it's been around for a while, but it's more visual, and you're building like almost like a mind map, but you're building a workflow process. So it's easier to understand, easier to set up than Zapier. Zapier is still pretty simple to set up, but Zapier pulls better. Zapier is more consistent in what it pulls and extracts from the zaps. And I'll give you a great for instance. We have been testing Feedly to G Sheet method using both Integromat and Zapier. Well, Integromat will pull the content of an RSS feed out of Feedly. Now, did I say that right, Wayne? Zapier will pull RSS feed content from Feedly. Integromat will not, or it's inconsistent when it does.
I think you add the word sometimes on
Sometimes.
the end. Integromat.
Yep. So which one would you use? Well, we're building a business. We're building an autoblog. I want it consistent every time. So I don't want a post that it just has an image and a title. I want to post with image, title, article. So I use Zapier for this method. Now, used to, 6 months ago, Integromat was linked up to Pinterest. The Pinterest API is the only place we found it actually works as an API is inside of Zapier. So we're using Zapier to send content from RSSMasher to Zapier to Pinterest boards, linking back to the Masher site or the WordPress site. So we're redirecting a link back into Pinterest. And we had we did a Geek Out call, I think in December, where we showed the Zapier to Pinterest method. Now, if you've got a lot of feeds, you can burn up a lot of tasks going out through Zapier. Once Integromat gets their Pinterest API, or we get our Pinterest API, you may not need the Zapier to Pinterest method. But for right now, that's the only one that we know will automate into Pinterest. So to answer your question is, if Integromat worked with Pinterest, we would do our outbound links through Integromat, but they don't, so we use Zapier right now. I think that answered the question. Okay, so let's go back to our mind map. We're going to wrap this thing up. We're getting that hour and 15 minutes here. And tools we use. These are feed readers. There's a Chrome extension called Feed Reader, and I use Feedly, and then there's one called Code Beautify. This is old school. It's going to show you the actual XML code, and it will try to scrape it and make it into an RSS view. Used to, you could actually use Firefox to do feeds, to show what an RSS feed looks like. There's not a browser out there, I don't think right now, that will actually show an RSS feed. And the reason is there's so many different standards being used for RSS feeds that it's, that's why you have to build a tool to go with it. Wayne took a few months just to be able to understand or to program the different RSS views because I wish there was one standard, but there's not. So anyway, I use Feedly to look at them. I use our own tool. And like I said at the beginning of the call, the reason I use RSSMasher technology to view the RSS feed is because I want to use the RSS feed in a mash. So these are just some ideas for feed readers. And then finding your feed. I have some extra tools in here, but I use RSS Ground a lot to find feeds, especially on a topic I don't know anything about. If somebody asked me to find content on manicures or pedicures, I have no idea. That's why I have a manicure video. So I go to YouTube, I'll do research there. I'll do research inside of Google search, and I'll go to RSS Ground. So I kind of get an idea of what's out there, what's trending, what are people going to, and I found most people are going to videos to watch manicure videos. But if you're teaching a topic or it's a news like celebrity news, you may want to have an RSS feed instead. But we have other tools that we use and recommend. They're inside of your VidPenguins deal. Just go up to the very top. You'll see, let's see here, under tools, we talk, here's our main flagship sites, but there is an interesting way, and I've talked about Q in the past, going to Social Bee, going to my Facebook and my social calendar. I'm working with Wayne on doing a Q to Zapier to a G Sheet method. And this Q is kind of interesting, is you have manual reviewers looking at posts, looking at viral content, and they do a short little paragraph curating the content. And then they send that curated post out to you, and you can pick it up with Buffer or Hootsuite or Social Bee. And I use Social Bee. And then I schedule it out to my social sites. But there is a methodology, and we're trying to get it to work correctly, of Q going straight into an RSSMasher mash, and then being posted into your own sites. So anyway, we'll keep you informed, when that comes up. Buffer and Social Bee, I use these to push content into social media, and then you can pull it back out. I make my newsletter is Q to Social Bee to Facebook, and then I pick up the Facebook feed and it goes into a newsletter. So anyway, you're just welcome to, look through these tools here that we use. And that's about it for today. Wayne, do you have any closing or any, y'all have any questions? I know we didn't go diving deep into the actual tactics of how to use it, but this is how we do our research. It's a manual process to find RSS feeds, but it's not hard. You just have to find them, review them, and see if this is the content that you would want to share on your own sites. Anything else you want to add, or any questions that we could address as a group?
There's no more questions. There was a few that we answered online. There was one that John asked about using multiple mashes in the same site. And I don't know if anyone else has ever tried that, but if you've got the same mash in multiple schedules, even though the software would let you do that, you won't get every article in that mash in every schedule, because as soon as one article's grabbed, it will mark it as posted, and then it won't be available for the other schedule. So if you want to use a similar feed in multiple sites, then you build a separate mash so that you can keep the articles separate, if that makes sense. That was the only one that was kind of, I answered it while you was talking, but it was kind of relevant really for other people might have had that same thought.
Yeah, Paul answered multiple feeds per site, like news, politics, money, travel. Yes. And Scott asked a good question. Is Lisa Allen's tool still working? And she has a tool called RSS Feed Finder. And it works on my computer, but I've recommended it. And there's 3 people that sent back and said it's not working on their computer. And I think it uses Adobe Air or Adobe Flash or something. And so it's not working on their computer because Adobe Flash is going away. So I can't recommend it outside of, I know it works and you can find articles with it. But I have found that using the Google search method and RSS Ground is easier. And Feedly finds those obscure blogs that have good content, but you can't find really in your search. So between this right here, this is kind of my primary way to find content now. And I wish there was a simple way that we could click a button and 20 of the best feeds and full content posts pop up, but there isn't. You still have to do a little manual shit. But the good thing is, this is a set it and forget it system. You find a good feed with good images, good content that you want to share. Typically that feed's going to be around for a long time. Yep. Yeah, and Garen put in we do record this. We do have show notes, and there's some good content in there. So guys, thank you for joining us on the call today. We'll see you in 2 weeks, and we may have something exciting that we're going to share in 2 weeks about, I'm hoping, maybe a new site build, or maybe a new social syndication. We're working on 2 of them. And guys, if you're in the RSSMasher group, I am putting in videos as fast as I can. I've got other things that I'm doing at the same time. But I'm trying to put transcripts in there. And if you haven't noticed, there's captions in there now. So I want to just quickly show you a video with captions on it, categories, and course introduction. And here's the workflow. This is describing the current workflow that we use for Masher sites. But see this little closed caption? Turn it on. You get English down at the bottom. The feeds have a lot of content, but they may not apply specifically to what you're trying to capture. So if you're trying, if you have a, but now you can actually read the video script all the way down. Let's say I want to go over the third way is the Google Sheet method. So you can search inside of this and find exactly where you want to go. And it's going to jump the video exactly to the point where that is. So if you want to know about Google G Sheets, you can type in here, or you can just search it through the script itself. And we have, big content source. So you would just jump it from there. But this is really handy if you're trying to find something inside of a video. I'm also adding to it. Let's see. I'm putting the full script in there, and it's either going to be a doc or it's probably going to be a PDF that you'll see in there, along with any images down in the download. So you could pull this down, read it alongside of your video, whatever you want to do with it. But we're trying to make this the categories. We're going to go into every section of RSSMasher and have a video about it. And I'm working on a step-by-step guidebook, more of a picture book. But we talk about tokens, managed groups. So if you want to know how to do anything inside of RSSMasher, we hope that within a week or so, we'll have exactly, if you're wanting about website feeds, just click on that. And again, we'll have closed caption. We'll have the complete script right here as a PDF. And we have the video. So hope this helps everybody. Wayne and I took for granted that, we've done a lot of training on RSSMasher, but some people don't want to watch an hour or 2-hour video to learn it. So we're breaking it down into small sections that is easily consumable. But if you have a question about YouTube feeds, you can just go straight to the video about YouTube feeds. Okay. Yep. And yeah, a lot of people have already talked about the transcripts. The search capability in Kajabi is really pretty cool. So anyway, talk to you soon. And if you don't mind, if you've got about 5 minutes of your time before you go do anything else, if you will go through this survey for us and drop a testimonial in there if you want to. If you do, I got a little gift for you if you drop a testimonial in there. But let us know if there's anything that you'd like for us to cover. Maybe we can improve our, through the survey, we've learned, hey, we need transcripts. So we need closed caption. These are great ideas that we're taking straight from these surveys and implement. It takes time on our part, but if we can make a better training product, y'all can be better users. And in the end, we're all going to make money. Okay. So Wayne, thank you for joining us. And guys, thanks for being on the call today. And we'll see you in 2 weeks.
Yep. See you.
Bye-bye.